Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have been watching The Glory starring Chen Ling and the male lead who was in Legend of Shen Li played by Yun Lai, and I want to talk about it. So I've seen the first 10 episodes, and it's going to be 30 episodes, and you can watch it on Tencent and Viki. The drama is very similar to probably like other historical dramas you've seen. Like the female lead, when she was born, she was her parents were told that she would bring evil upon her family. So they sent her away to the countryside where she was maltreated. And that was for like 17 years. Once it got to a point where she was like too tired of it after those 17 years, she killed her foster parents and she comes back to the capital to reunite with her parents, but she realizes that nobody at home is welcoming her in the way that she would think. Her dad seems to be welcoming her, but he's just as problematic as anybody else because he's not actually able to have any control in the household, and it's the concubine and her mother that have the real control in the household. And even then, we realize that the concubine is the reason why she was sent away in the first place, because the concubine got this thief to pretend to be a Taoist master and lie about her, so that her children could prosper and she would fail. And she suffered immensely as a result of it. So the whole story is her revenge mission to kind of reclaiming what was always supposed to be hers, including the male lead, because she was supposed to marry the male lead. When she was born, she was betrothed to him, even before she was born, really, and he's older than her by probably about like 10 years. Well, because she's sent away, he ends up marrying her half sister, who's the second born, no, the eldest, the firstborn of the concubine, who's also the firstborn daughter of the family. And they have a child, they have a daughter, but then she dies, the mother of the child, and her half sister dies from poisoning. So, I mean, he's up for game. He's up for grabs, I guess, as when she comes back. And because she killed her foster parents, he's like asking all these questions like, what happened? What did you do? But not because he's curious, it's because he is the Vice Minister of Judicial Review. So he's always keen on like investigating stuff. He has a lot of enemies around the capital. Like he's always looking into people's secrets and trying to figure out like what makes them tick. Which is what he's trying to do with the female lead, because he's attracted to the female lead because he's not like his first wife. Like she is tough and fierce and can protect herself and would never be easily poisoned because she's used to having to scheme because she was so maltreated during her childhood. So he's very attracted to that. I also want to add that she's the only legitimate daughter of her family. Her other siblings, including the one that died, were all the children of the concubine, and the concubine was actually with her father before her mother was. Funnily enough, the mother also states that the father did everything that he could to try and like marry her, but he hasn't really treated the mother like a treasure. If anything, he's allowed her to suffer. And it's implied that, at least within the first 10 episodes, that the father had something to do with the death of the mother's like entire family. And based on what I see in the MTL comments, there is going to be like a major massacre later on in the show with the female lead's family, and she's going to be the only one that survives. I think it's also implied that the male lead is going to be the one that ensures that she's the only one that survives because she is the most important one in the family. She suffered enough. Why make her suffer more? And then the second half is going to be about maybe her living with the male lead and trying to, continue to try and regain what was lost, and solidify her place in the capital, because the word that she was an evil spirit spread all across the capital. So when she came back, that's all everybody saw her as, until she made sure that she proved that the Dallas Master was fake, which she did, and then she was able to return to her original place as a legitimate daughter of her family. So now let's talk about like what I think about the drama and like my feelings and stuff like that. So I have very mixed feelings about this drama. I've watched like so many historical revenge Chinese dramas and Korean dramas, and I'm very used to the whole like evil stepmother that is horrible to you but pretends like she's nice. Like we've all seen it before. Like in terms of that, there's nothing new. But I think what's interesting that the female lead isn't necessarily a kind person and she's vicious. And she's vicious because of what she's been through. And I like that. I like that. I promise you that I like that. It's interesting and refreshing to see a female lead go through all of that and not just be like this flower who's super peaceful about everything and okay about everything. Like it's nice seeing a character like that. And Chen Duling brings that like grayness to that role, and I know she plays characters like that so well because if you've all seen Till the End of the Moon, she plays a villain in that one as well, and she's just very good at roles like that. So her being in a grey role as a female lead just makes a lot of sense to me. The male lead, okay, the first thing I've ever seen him in before this was Legend of Shen Li, and he was fine in that role. But here, he's playing a very like stoic character who's very difficult to figure out. And I don't know how I feel about his feelings towards the female lead or like his end game because she keeps asking him, she's like, okay, you like me, but like I'm like uneasy about you. I don't know whether I should trust you. You're telling me to trust you, but you've put me in so many different scenarios. I really don't know where we're headed. And her confusion makes sense because you're like, the guy's confusing her beyond compare. Like he's jailing her, he's imprisoning her, and then he's giving her food and telling her to take care of his daughter at the same time. Like he's asking for too many things at once, and it confuses her. But another thing is that he has this daughter. He has a wife that's died, and even his household is pretty like dangerous. So it's like, are you wanting to marry her to just protect your household and your daughter, or do you also genuinely like her? And I do think he genuinely likes her, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking about his reasoning for getting with her. Like, it's not just about like, it's something more. And maybe that's not a bad thing, but I'm definitely not used to a male lead approaching a romantic relationship like that. But I guess within the context, it makes sense because he has a daughter and he has a wife that died previously. Like he needs a strong woman. And additionally, we find at the end of episode 10 that he's sick with like this terminal illness. So he's kind of in a rush to find a new wife to protect his daughter and his household. And tell me why that makes me feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, ugh, if only it would just be like a simple romantic way that you like her. But no, there's so much more to it. And the drama is called The Glory, which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it is based on a web novel that they've changed a lot for the screenplay. But I do have to say, they have one scene in episode 10 where she strips for him and she has scars all over her body. And I'm like, well, if you've watched The Glory of the K-drama, you know there's the exact same scene in The Glory of K-drama, and it's also a revenge story, but it's modern with Song Hye-kyo. And I'm like, let's not lie, the screenplay definitely took inspiration from the modern K-drama, especially because people who've read the web novel say that they've changed a lot the screenplay. I'm not even entirely sure if the screenplay, like the original, like the Chinese name for the screenplay is any similar to The Glory at all in terms of like translation, but one can say they definitely took heavy inspiration from the K-drama The Glory. Additionally, I can say I'd like the OST, like the songs fit the scenes, they put on the right emotional songs at the right times. Nothing feels particularly disjointed. It does a lot of show and not telling, which honestly is a sign of excellent screenwriting, so that's nice. It's very much show don't tell. I have no clue what's happening unless I read ahead. Like it's very like we're figuring things out alongside the female lead. Like we don't know any more than she does. And I'm definitely not used to watching dramas like that, but I can say that it's fun. And I am going to keep watching, and there are 20 episodes left now, at least for me to watch, because I'm watching it on Viki. If you're watching it on Tencent, you're probably ahead of that, but it is fun regardless. The cast is very attractive, and I will say the actress playing the mother of the female lead is doing an amazing job. She plays a lot of villains in dramas. She was in more recently, like last year, she was in Love and Nirvana, and she played Jeremy Sue's mother in that drama, and she plays like wicked evil characters or just twisted characters very well. And just clap hands for that actress because she always does an amazing job. I love the costumes, I love the sets. Things really do look grandiose and it's quite nice. And I haven't seen like just a normal regular historical drama yet this year, so this is my first one. I've only the only two dramas I've seen this year, Love of the Divine Tree and this one. I dropped one, but I won't say the name unless you guys beg me to. This is my second C drama of the year, and then my first like just historical one. And I can say that I'm enjoying it and the performances are good. So hopefully it keeps up the momentum and continues to be interesting. The way they started it, I have a feeling it has a solid script and they only have 30 episodes. So the only worry that everything isn't really like tightened well at the end. But I think the journey will be fun anyway. The ending could be sad. I'm not really thinking it's going to have a happy ending, but we'll have to see. As long as it doesn't have an open ending, I think I'll be okay. Let me know what you think about this drama in the comments below. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Thanks so much for listening. Bye bye.